bringing you inside the USL Championship and League One.
Segmer's got there, Marquinhos! He's been knocking on the door! He knocks it down!
Diving into all the biggest stories and top headlines.
You are ripping and roaring today.
This is USL All Access.
It's almost impossible to recreate that level of magic.
With Mike Watts and Devon Kerr on SiriusXM FC.
Welcome, everybody, to USL All Access on this beautiful Tuesday evening, July 9th, 2024, on what is the day of the return of Open Cup. 4 matches tonight, absolutely. We got 3 USL Championship teams in action. We'll get there in a second. I know the background looks a little bit different for all you people at home that are listening on your radio. I'm on the road again. I apologize that maybe it's not as aesthetically pleasing as it normally is. At least that's what we'd like to hope and think. Devon's domestic. Mike Watts is out walking the cat across the pond. He's gone international for a couple of days. They've left me in charge. So to make sure that you're not bored just listening to one voice for the entirety of this 49 minutes of show that's broken down with commercials over an hour time frame, I've got some very special guests tonight. We've got Todd Dunivant, the president and general manager of Sacramento Republic. He's going to join us ahead of their game against the Seattle Sounders. That will be later on tonight. I've also got Peter Trevisani, club owner and CEO of New Mexico United. They will travel to LAFC for their quarterfinal matchup as well. We're going to do Open Cup previews. We're going to talk a little bit about everything, but it's going to be quick on the front end because the interviews are absolutely incredible. Great insight into what the club has built, what they're continuing to build in the Western Conference for both Sacramento Republic and New Mexico United. I would like to start with just the formalities. Atlanta United and Indy 11, they're currently doing battle as we speak. They kicked off about 45 minutes ago. Who knows exactly what's going on in that second half? I can tell you that, yes, you can be in 2 places at one point in time because I'm calling that match. Chris Whittingham, great guy. We're enjoying ourselves right now. In theory, later on tonight, as mentioned, Sac will host Seattle. That's at 11 o'clock Eastern time. Tomorrow, the only MLS versus MLS matchup is FC Dallas versus a sporting Kansas City team that's looking to get back on track at 9 o'clock Eastern time. And LAFC will host New Mexico United at 11 o'clock Eastern time. Need to make note, Richmond Kickers, Darren Sawatsky, tip of the cap, very well done. Their match on national television, what did they do? Well, in a near-capacity crowd at City Stadium, 5,574 spectators watched Chandler O'Dwyer in spectacular fashion in 90+11 get a game winner to knock off Forward Madison, the last remaining unbeaten team in USL League One. Great to see the Kickers on the schneid. Also great to see what a great performance it's been for the growth of development, specifically on the national level for USL Championship. Across USL Championship, as this continues going forward, 36 games on nationally televised platforms across the earth between CBS Sports Network, Golazo, and ESPN. We've also recently partnered with Univision. There are going to be 12 matches on Univision to be showcased, including a Spanish simulcast of the USL Championship final. Friendly reminder, we've got Spokane against Union Omaha. League One will be back in action on September 4th at 9 o'clock Eastern time on CBS Sports Network. On July 21st, Oakland will be hosting Sacramento Republic, 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific on Big CBS. That's right, you heard it right here. And last but not least, our third regular season game on CBS is Detroit City hosting Rhode Island FC, 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific time. Again, the summer of soccer continues on. There are games galore, certainly enough to go around so that you don't have to listen to me any longer. So, with the brief intro and the opportunity of telling you what is to come, we're going to go to break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Todd Dunivant, president, general manager of Sacramento Republic, prior to their matchup against the Seattle Sounders later on tonight. Stick around.
Let's get back to USL All Access on SiriusXM FC with Mike Watts and Devon Kerr.
Welcome back, everybody, to USL All Access on this fine Tuesday evening, Open Cup edition. Now, we've been talking about it for the first couple of minutes. Fortunately enough, in the absence of Mike Watts on air, who's out walking the cat, you don't have to listen to me talk for very long. So I went and got some friends, or at least people that I like to call friends. They probably would introduce me as something different. that is neither here nor there. The most important thing is we have people that know what's going on in the American soccer landscape that are kind enough to share their time with us. First and foremost, the interview tonight will be with President and General Manager Todd Dunivant of Sacramento Republic. Let's see. There's a lot on the list of what you have accomplished. I'm going to get to that in a second. So I just want to stay with the here and now. How are we doing? What's going on in the world of the Quails?
Yeah, we're doing good. Good to be here, Devon. Yeah, we're in the middle of it, right? And tonight's obviously huge for us. We've got a massive game against Seattle Sounders, four-time champion. This is why we do this. This is what we live for. This is a tournament that we love here.
We certainly have some success in that. I'm going to start from the beginning for everybody and fully encompass what that has looked like. And I'm going to try and do it in 15 minutes if I can. Joined the Quails in 2018. For people that don't know, I actually didn't discover this till about 2 years ago, that you were in charge, or at least in charge of soccer operations for the 2017 San Francisco Deltas team that was lights out, by the way. Love that club. In 2020, appointed as the club's president, already carrying the general manager title. You've kind of done a little bit of everything for the club. You guys have certainly had success. I guess, what's the biggest amount of growth that you've experienced so far in your time in Sacramento as a club?
I think our club, has been through a lot. And, we jumped out of the game long before I was here in 2014. The club really burst onto the scene. I think caught everybody off guard in terms of the soccer world. It was 20,000 fans showing up to this team in Sacramento. At the time I was with the LA Galaxy, it just kind of turned everybody's head, mine included. And the club has sort of never looked back. I think it's an incredible soccer market. It's an incredible sports market. You've got the Kings here, and you got the Republic. This is kind of a big advantage for us, and obviously a lot of huge soccer fans. You look at our fan base; it gets stronger every single year. Our numbers continue to just go up and up, and we're fortunate to have that. And we think that's our biggest strength is our fan base and our community. So I think for us, our growth as a club is still happening. I think we still have ambitions. Obviously on the field, we want to win another USL Championship. We haven't done that since 2014, and it's been too long. And I think that's our main focus. The Open Cup is our other big focus. It is every single year. We love that tournament. It's a huge priority for us. And then I think when you're talking big picture, it's getting a downtown stadium and a training facility and upping our game in that level. We have a great venue at Heart Health Park, but we want to take things to the next level. We want to get downtown and really, take our club to the highest level.
Let's stay domestic here for a second. The friendly confines, if you will, of the Western Conference of the USL Championship. Sacramento Republic currently sitting third in the West on 28 points, behind Oakland Roots with 29 and New Mexico United on 34. Now, there's some game fluctuations in there, as you guys have 2 games in hand on Oakland. New Mexico have 1 game on you guys. For people that follow SAC, and then for the ones that don't, can you just kind of give us an idea in your eyes of what in USL Championship play this season has been like for you guys so far?
Yeah, it's been a tale of, I guess, two halves in a way. We started off very strong. We're in first place for the first and undefeated for the first 8-9 games. Don't know exactly. And doing very well. But I think we, after the San Jose Earthquakes round of 16 victory, hit a little bit of a skid. And I think, for whatever reason, our team, yes, there's been injuries, but everyone deals with that. Everyone deals with the ups and downs of the season. I think it's just a period we need to get through. And we kind of need to get back to our identity of who we are. What makes us difficult to play against. Danny Vitiello, our goalkeeper, has been absolutely incredible this year on every level, and has kept us in games. So our record is in big part due to him. But we have such a talented roster, and we need guys to step up. We need the team to come together. We need guys to gel, and guys to step up. And I think that's what the period we're in. And every season you go through this, and we're in the middle of it now. But really, for tonight, for everything we're working towards in this tournament, we have to have very short-term memories and be focused on the present and focused on the Sounders. So we know we're gonna be back in the thick of things in USL, and we are in the thick of things. So we're trying not to make too big of a deal of it. We're addressing what needs to be addressed because we're not really performing in the league the way we need to be, and we're not showing, especially at home, who we are and what we can do.
The start of this year, by the way, 11 games unbeaten in that the beginning of the 2024 season. That's tied for sixth best all time, 22, which is a staggering number, by the way, is the record. Richmond Kickers in
Richmond,
2013. Yeah, crazy. Remember that team? What a world that was. What a different league it was, right? I mean, what a different league it was when you all decided, first as a personnel change and then second as a head coaching change, to bring Mark Briggs in. I mean, this was pre-COVID. It was 2019. Mark Briggs came in as the academy director, then serving under Simon Elliott, who was your head coach. And then he took over for the 2020 season. It was COVID. We had groups, then we had divisions. Now we're back to East and West. I guess I would start with, first part would be, how did the recruitment of Mark Briggs come about? And how did he end up in Sacramento?
Well, I got a call from Danny Cruz sort of out of the blue. I had Danny, you mentioned the San Francisco Deltas. I had Danny in with the Deltas. Obviously knew Danny from MLS days and playing against each other for all those years. And he just reached out and said, hey, do you know of any local clubs that might be interested in a coach? And I said, what are you talking about? And he mentioned Mark. And I said, oh, wow. And that was really the start of it. He wasn't even asking for a job with Republic. It was just, hey, he's going to be moving back to the area. His wife's from here. Do you got any connections that you can help him out with? And I said, yeah, we do at the Republic. So that was the start of it. And we had an opening with our academy and an opportunity to bring him in. It was ultimately a no-brainer. And he was fantastic as our academy director. We're very fortunate to have a great academy, a full-blown academy, which we're really proud of. And then the opportunity came when our head coaching vacancy opened up, and we looked at a lot of candidates. Mark was by far the best one, and we haven't looked back since.
The success that you guys have been able to achieve and also maintain, both domestically in USL Championship and certainly in Open Cup play, once again in a US Open Cup quarterfinal. I'll get to those numbers here in a second. That's certainly something that everybody aspires to, but also comes with consequences on the backside, in the sense of, people want your players. People want your coaches, right? You achieve success, and all of a sudden people say, hey, we want that. How do we get it? When you take those comments and those situations and combine it with situations like bringing a Justin Portillo in, dealing with the absence of Rodrigo Lopez due to the season-ending injury, how do you handle a roster build? There's a lot that encompasses that. I know it's not one answer, but how do you take all of that in and still try and find that narrow path to success once again?
Yeah, Mark and I really kind of, I wouldn't say tore down the roster, but had our big overhaul after the 2021 season. That was the only year we haven't made the playoffs, and felt like we needed a new culture. We needed to freshen it up. And so we really kind of started, kind of a big overhaul at that point. That was the year, obviously, that we had our big Open Cup run, had a lot of success in the league, and that was the start of it. Last year, we followed that up with winning the Western Conference, came within an earshot of the final, and, feel like we still have unfinished business this year. So this year now is our third year of this group. We've added pieces along the way. We've added some very good pieces, we think, but we've kept our core group together. And that's a hard thing to do at any level. And certainly in USL Championship, to be able to keep your core team together. And we've done that. We re-signed Danny Vitiello last year to a longer term contract. Connor Donovan, some of the players that have been major success stories for us, and we're going to continue to do that with our team and keep our core roster. Just that continuity, we think, adds a lot to what you do, and you don't have to start over and be an expansion team every single year.
Speaking with the president and general manager, Todd Dunivant of Sacramento Republic in the USL Championship, and specifically of the Western Conference. They'll be doing battle later on tonight, U.S. Open Cup quarterfinal match, hosting the Seattle Sounders, 11 o'clock Eastern time. I want to go personal here for a second, read off some of the accolades on your resume so I can feel worse about myself as the night goes on. Stanford grad in 99 and 2002, senior year, only player in the nation to be selected as a first-team All-American as well as an academic All-American. Thanks for that, by the way. 6th overall draft pick in 2003 MLS Super Draft with San Jose, 300 plus top flight appearances with San Jose. Obviously, the majority of your career, for people that don't know, spent with the LA Galaxy, New York Red Bull, and Toronto FC to round out the resume. Here come the fun numbers. 5 MLS Cups. Must be a heavy hand with all those rings. 2 supporter shields to your name. You do have some success, albeit in the U.S. Open Cup as well, an MLS Best 11, but that's not it. Off the field, and I have to repeat this exactly as it's written. U.S. Soccer Foundation, MLS Works Humanitarian of the Year, 3 times with the club, San Jose, Toronto, and Galaxy, Club Humanitarian of the Year. That's a lot of individual accolades that also comes with team success. So because we've already talked about the team, and I'll get back to it, personally, you've done a lot. What's the ambition on your end of what the future looks like and what you'd like to achieve?
Yeah, I mean, thank you for reading all that. I owe you.
No Stanford, no Stanford education, but I can read. So there we go.
Yeah, no, that was great. Honestly, all the success I've ever had, and it took me a while to figure this out, why I like being a part of soccer, why I like sports. It's really the team aspect for me. And that is where my success has ever come from, is being part of great teams. And I've been a part of a lot of great teams. Turns out that being, once you're done playing, trying to figure out what you're going to do next is a scary thing for a lot of athletes, and it was for me too. But once I figured out, hey, what I love about this is the team aspect, I knew that I had to be, on the team side, in the position where I could affect the team, be part of the team. In some ways, in a lot of ways, in a bigger impact than even as a player. Being a GM, having the ability to affect the makeup of rosters, affect the staff, affect the culture, and impart that. I mean, I've been a part of some really good cultures, and I've been a part of some not so great cultures, and learning, that mix. It's never ending, that process. And that's what I love. And that's what keeps me going every single day. So, to answer your question, I actually don't think that far ahead in terms of those things. It's about, how do we, beat the Sounders tonight? How do we advance to the semifinals? And how do we, in USL, win the league? How do we win a championship? And, that's what I've spent my career focusing on, is winning. And that journey, that process for how you win. And that's what I love. That's what I enjoy. And eventually you do things the right way, and you surround yourself with really good people, and you're going to have some success.
I apologize to the listeners ahead of time, as I'm going to repeat a stat here, as we also have Peter Trevisani, the CEO and owner of New Mexico United, up in our next segment. We're currently talking with President and General Manager Todd Dunivant of Sacramento Republic. But the numbers to me are just staggering. With a win, you guys would be the only USL team, you could say lower division, championship squad, whatever it may be, in the history of the modern era, which started in 2011, to reach 2 semifinals. 439 teams since the start of 2011 under the USL pyramid have entered Open Cup play. Only 17 have made it to the final 8. Only 2 have gone on to make a semifinal appearance. Of course, your squad back in 2022, winning that match, eventually falling short in the final to Orlando City. Richmond Kickers did it in 2011. Only 2 organizations have actually made the quarterfinals twice. Ironically enough, New Mexico United being the other one. So where I'm going with this is there's obviously success. There's long-term sustained success. You have a star above the crest. You guys are relevant in the USL Championship once again. You have an opportunity to repeat and continue making your own, as well as lower division soccer history. But the question is this: what is success defined by in 2024 for the team?
I think success for us is very simple. It's a championship. I think we've come very close, and we've hit around the edges on it. Obviously, the appearance in 2022, we have no regrets about that. We put our best foot forward, and felt like that game was completely in our hands. I mean, it couldn't have been going better in the 75th minute, and it was one mistake that ultimately a World Cup player capitalized on and scored, and that's going to happen. But we did everything right. We felt really proud of that team, that journey, and we want to repeat that. That's what sports are about. You don't get royalties in sports. You have to do it again and again and again, and continue to show your mettle. And you're tested in 50 different ways. That is the beauty of our club ideology. That is the core of who we are. The idea of Indomitable is that you don't make excuses. You figure it out. You find a way. So for us, it's finding a way to win a championship, and we have the opportunity, really for 3 championships between the league title, the playoffs, and the Open Cup. That is what we're focused on, and we feel like we have a roster that can do all of those things, and that's not going to be easy. We know that starting tonight with Seattle Sounders. It was San Jose Earthquakes last round. We knew that was going to be a really tall test, and we know Seattle Sounders have won this thing 4 times. There's not many bigger clubs in this country than Seattle Sounders, the players that they have, international players. But at the end of the day, you put all that into a cup tournament in Sacramento on any given night, and on tonight, I think we like our chances. We like our chances a lot, and our crowd's going to be huge. It's going to be a fun night. Anyone who's been to any of these cup games knows how fun they are. I love this tournament. It's the opportunity for the underdog story, and something that's different that you don't see every single week. And that's interesting. And that's why I think people have really resonated with our success in this tournament.
Last one for you on the way out. Speaking of fun, had a conversation with John Jacobs. John Jacobs, for people at home, is the Vice President of Communications for Sacramento Republic. JJ, as he's been coined as the years have gone on. And he sent me a fun little note about you guys. And I had the distinct pleasure of not only witnessing in person, but being on the broadcast call for a bunch of games in that run to the final in 2022. And he sent me a note, and he said that 2022, LA was unique. And his words, I'm going to read to you. LA was unique, obviously with your ties to the Galaxy, but it was the great memories that were made with your staff. That the San Jose match in the round of 16 game really kicked off the run, but LA Galaxy game made it very real. And specifically because you guys got in and out to be involved in the tailgate, I've been told. So my question is this: has this run, is it real now? Is it real once again? Is it a formality that this is going to happen? And should we expect any sort of accoutrement with the burgers outside of the park?
Listen, the InNOut burger has these mobile trucks, but they only do it in Southern California, so we can't do it up north. It'd be a long drive for them to make, and they don't freeze anything, so I don't think they could make it in the day. So no InNOut trucks at home. They don't do that in NorCal, but it was an incredible day, I think, down in Southern California. We did that. We flew our whole staff down, which we have a big staff, and our owner, Kevin Nagel, funded that and wanted to make sure that it was a complete collective night. I don't think anyone saw it coming, but we just had a belief about us, and I think going into tonight, we have that belief. We're going to have a humongous crowd. We're at home in this tournament, which we've had a ton of success in. JJ would stat correct me here, but I think we've only lost once in the Open Cup at home in our history, and that doesn't mean anything for tonight, but it means that we've got a darn good record here, and we're a tough team to beat in Sacramento. So it's going to be a fun one. We know we got a huge task ahead of us, but I would not count us out.
Only 1 loss at Hard Health Park, only 2 losses overall in Open Cup play at home. That's pretty staggering. Most wins by a second division side since 2014 in the Open Cup timeframe. Todd, incredible. I could pick your brain all day long. The dork in me, in the nicest of ways, will not bore everybody with all my analytical questions and what this could look like in the future. Want to wish you guys the best of luck once again. To you, to Mark Briggs, and everybody this evening against the Seattle Sounders. Thank you so very much for your time.
Thanks, Devon. Great to be here.
There he goes. Wow. A lot to take in, a lot still to come. That's Todd Dunivant, President, General Manager of Sacramento Republic. Again, they will take on the Seattle Sounders tonight in the quarterfinals of the U.S. Open Cup. Coming right back, we've got Peter Trevisani, owner, CEO of New Mexico United. They as well have an Open Cup match, albeit tomorrow evening. They've got an LA team in the waiting as well. LAFC flying atop the Western Conference of MLS. Let's have a chat with him when USL All Access returns.
giving insight to all the biggest moments in Championship and League One. This is USL All Access on SiriusXM FC with Mike Watts and Devon Kerr.
Welcome back, everybody, to USL All Access on this beautiful Tuesday evening. That sees us on the night of Open Cup, the night before Open Cup Eve, if you will, for a couple of teams, New Mexico United being one of them, and an opportunity put forth once again for such a storied club, even if it's only for a short amount of time, coming in since 2019. New Mexico United has made waves since the beginning. Playoffs in 4 out of their 5 seasons. It's been partnerships, it's fan experience, Meow Wolf, jerseys, Isotopes Park, that for all intents and purposes, for everybody listening now, needs to be known as the Lab because it's an incredible place. Go check it out. And I am very fortunate today that we have club president, CEO, Peter Trevisani joining us. Sir, I got to tell you, I'm not so sure if it's a good thing that we spent this much time apart. You're probably happy about that, but it has been too long. How are you, my friend?
Hey, it's good to see you. The beard's filled in a tiny bit since I saw you last, but you're looking good, Dev.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, it's amazing what 3 kids, no sleep, and a ton of travel does for you. So as we continue on in this great journey, for people that are unfamiliar with New Mexico United, unfortunately haven't had that experience with you all yet, kind of give us a lay of the land of where you guys stand right now and what's going on with the club.
Yeah, look, the club's, as you mentioned, we're in our 6th season this year. We're having a great season on the pitch. We're sitting there top of the West. I think we're kind of into New Mexico United 2.0, I would say. We had that first crop of players, with the exception of Daniel Bruce. He's the only one left from the first year. And we've kind of had a new team of players. I think everyone in New Mexico has gotten to see what this could look like, what the range of possibilities are. And now at this point going forward, we're more focused on things such as, winning a cup and pushing on.
I'm going to get right into the elephant in the room, which is not an elephant whatsoever. We're going to talk about the Open Cup. There is just so much emotion and passion in this tournament. You guys have certainly had that experience from the beginning. I've got some pretty staggering numbers to share with you in a second, but I want to talk about the club. United for the Cup. That's the saying this year, right? United for the Cup, and an opportunity for everybody to continue this experience that is, but away from home, with support of First Financial Credit Union and Blake's Lotaburger. We're going to get to menu choice selections in a second. You guys chartered an airliner to take fans, players, and coaches to the match against LAFC tomorrow night. It's actually 2 flights overall. First flight, 183 people will be on that flight. Second flight on a Southwest flight will carry 28 individuals. So a little over 200 in total. $250 gets you ticket to the match, swag bag, round trip airfare, and the opportunity to witness history. Second time you guys have done this, 2019, you made the quarterfinal against Minnesota United. The visions of grandeur have never lacked, we'll say, out west with you guys in New Mexico. How did it come to this point, and how did you guys decide, you know what, we need to make this happen once again for our fans and give them the chance to come and experience this game with us?
Yeah, soccer is beautiful. Football is beautiful because it's circular. The energy is circular. It's not just one direction. And we have New Mexico, some people may know or may not know, it's pretty much the poorest state in our country, or one of the poorest states in our country. Our fans that are coming on that plane are taking days off from work. They are saying no to other things, other choices in their lifestyle. And when we went to Minnesota, I shook hands with every single person on that plane. We had people on that plane that had never been on an airplane before. That was the first time they had flown anywhere, and they chose New Mexico United. That was the catalyst to make it happen. And so when you see that, we say, well, how can we take something that might be impossibly expensive and bring it down to a level that's affordable, and give back to our fans? And this is a chance for us to give back, and because they give so much to us every single day.
Tell me about Blake's Lotaburger, by the way. I jumped on immediately to see this food chain. They're based out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, 75 locations across the southwestern United States. The original green chili cheeseburger. Do you got a menu favorite there that helped promote this idea?
Oh, man, it's the best. Look, if you've never been to New Mexico, if you don't know where New Mexico is, if you don't even know what a New Mexican looks like, go find it on a map, start driving, and stop as soon as you get to a Blake's Lotaburger. Get the green chili cheeseburger. It might hurt. I'm not going to lie if it's your first one, but your life will have another level of completeness to it that it didn't have before. So phenomenal partners. Great. I mean, we have so much pride in Blake's Lotta Burgers. It represents New Mexico, it represents us, and they've a family-run business and done an amazing job. They could be anywhere in the world, and they choose to be in New Mexico and in the Southwest.
I want to reread the statement from the club and just kind of tie it into something here. And it's the way that you guys introduced United for the Cup. Again, this opportunity for fans to experience the quarterfinal against LAFC. And it was listed as this, a chartered airliner to take fans, players, and coaches. And while people at home hear that statement, might not think very much of it, you just kind of alluded to the chance, the first flight, whatever. I was taken by this. You guys have always taken such a tremendous amount of pride on fan first engagement, on the opportunity to include what is this incredible culture outside of the beautiful game of football, but in New Mexico itself and Albuquerque, Santa Fe, all the surrounding areas, but bringing that to them and finding a way to bridge the game and modern everyday life and bringing it together. Fan first, Isotopes Park, the lab. You guys average over 10,000 a game. We were just talking before you came on. You just did over 12,000 on a midweek match, which is the highest of the mark. When you founded this club, how did you get to the point of, no matter what, the number one priority is and always will be our fan base, because you guys have hit it out of the park since the beginning?
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. And I'll just say this, I spent most of my career in finance. That's what kind of set me up to be able to do some of the things I want to do and enjoy. And one thing that I love is immersive theater. On the front of our jersey, we have Meow Wolf, an immersive wonderland. I won't get into it. But when we created New Mexico United, for me, it wasn't about owning a sports team. I grew up playing American football. I knew very little about soccer, but I did understand the power that soccer had to bring people together in ways that they haven't been brought together before. And with the background in immersive theater, I understood that we can break traditional barriers between fans and team and community, for that matter. And so the dream was really to have something that, regardless of what our differences are anywhere in the world, doesn't matter who you vote for, what God you pray to, what language you speak, for 90 minutes, we all agree that was the worst call we've ever seen. And that ref needs to, be very careful how he gets out of the stadium. And so for 90 minutes, we're bringing everyone together and focusing on our commonality, because we have so much in common. And the way we do that is we break the barriers down. We put the players and the fans on the same plane, even though that might not be what a coach wants. It shows that we're all in it together. We're all step by step moving in the same direction. And that's how you build family.
Speaking of club president and CEO Peter Trevisani of New Mexico United, they'll be matched up against LAFC on the road tomorrow night, 7/9/2024. July 9th, for all you people at home that don't know the numbers. I don't do well with numbers, so I figured I'd do both. Continuing that dream. I've referenced it a couple of times. I've experienced it firsthand. The lab, Isotopes Park, it is your home. You guys have such an incredible fan base. But that dream, there's a not so distant future where that dream's going to evolve into your own park, right? It's New Mexico United Stadium at Balloon Fiesta Park. At least that's what it was last time I checked. I know there's been some ups and downs. Most importantly, it is headed in a positive direction. Where do we stand right now in the future of New Mexico United in its own home stadium?
There's that saying, soccer is life. And I think that this is a great example when, whenever we're moving into anything new in our life, whether it's a career, whether it's building a family, you have to take a step forward, not knowing that it's all sorted out for you, that the future's uncertain, that you don't know exactly where you're going to live and what it's all going to look like. When we started New Mexico United, we needed to play in a baseball stadium, and we knew we would need a stadium at some point, but we had to trust that it was going to happen. It has been a wildly exhaustive process, frustrating at times, but it's also been beautiful. It's been an incredible journey. And right now we do have a lease for 6 acres of land with the city of Albuquerque in an area called Balloon Fiesta Park. But there's still hurdles. There's a legal process. There's work that has to be done to prepare the site, but we're really hopeful that we can move out of Isotopes Park, which has been a great place, but there's a minor league baseball team that plays there. And we can have a stadium that we can make our own. And by the way, when I say make our own, I don't mean close the doors around us. We open it up to the community, so it's open every single day. It's going to be a community park we're going to play our games there. So many other great memories are going to happen there that have nothing to do with New Mexico United. And I really enjoy being a leader of that project, and I can't wait to look back one day and just see it take off and see that we have a home.
Peter, quick follow-up for you there, and this is also it's a little bit fun and playful, but also serious. The pride that comes around the club, the name, the lab, right, at Isotopes Park, is that going to transfer to New Mexico United Stadium? Will it continue to be New Mexico United Stadium because legally that's what you guys have agreed to behind the scenes, or is there going to be a new name that'll be, you know, put alongside of that? Do we join things together? What does that look like in the future?
I love it. Yeah, we should have a little lab. You know, I always joke that they're bringing out the magic water when an opposing player goes down and they hear the Pobrecito chant. I said, oh, here comes the magic water. Just look, he's going to go from a broken knee to healed in no time. And they drink from the water bottle and boom, up they come. So maybe we'll create a little laboratory with the magic water. And but I know we're going to bring things like the Pobrecito chant. I know our supporters group's going to come over. Yeah, we're going to honor what we've built. We're not starting over. We're just taking the next step. And just like I'm sure in your house, Devon, you've got little baby shoes in the closet and articles of clothing because you want to cherish those moments as you move forward, and we're going to do the same.
Yeah, I got kids' clothes over there too next to mine. Just kidding. No, that's great. Troy Lesane, Zach Prince, servants of the club, helped found and put together this magnificent foundation that is New Mexico United and will continue to be, regardless of what changes come in the future. Excuse me. They were given an opportunity, right? You've been on record very proud of the chance for Troy, first at Red Bull, now with DC United, Zach following suit as well. And I think the biggest question is, although you guys had success both in USL Championship and the Open Cup, that there wanted to be this next step, and who was going to lead you there? So you go and get Eric Quill. Eric Quill, for people that don't know, great background at the youth level with FC Dallas and became North Texas with, at that point in time, was in USL League One. They kind of did everything, right? They set records right out of the gate. They won a title. His points per game was at 1.7, averaging more right now, by the way, in his USL Championship tenure with you guys. It's individual awards. They've done everything. How did Eric Quill end up in New Mexico, and how did you decide that he was the right man to steer you guys towards a more positive path, if you will, in the future, and more success?
Yeah, it's a great question. And again, I think I'll go back. I'll revolve from my personal journey, which is that when I started the club, with Ron Patel and so many other talented people, we had to pick a head coach. And when we picked Troy Lesane, and we'd be on a completely different path without Coach Lesane. He is as much a part of the ethos of this club as any other individual. We were looking at some other coaches, and we had a couple of traditional coaches lined up. And one we were very close to hiring, and then I talked to Troy and thought I'd spend 5 minutes with him. 2 hours later, we're buying him a plane ticket to come out to Albuquerque. He showed up on maybe the hottest day of the year in June in a suit. And I remember saying, hey, Troy, you look great. Now take your suit off and let's go run around this town and look at everything. And he brought in Zach Prince, and we really, really built it together. And really what I was looking for was someone that believed in our mission, that this was more important than just winning soccer games, that understood that their path to greatness, to achieving whatever their goals were, would be through success with our club, not around success or despite success. That if they were to do a great job with our platform, it would open up doors to them. And they had to be a good person, a person that cared about each individual. Our players are people. Our players are also on their career path. Many of them have families. Some of them are really young and they want to play for Liverpool one day. Whatever that is, someone that could understand what they were going through as individuals and harness that and see their journey. And so when I see Cody Mizell, our original goalie, also now coaching in MLS, I look at that as a positive outcome. And so with Coach Quill, I wanted to do a lot of those same things. I understood that we needed to have a coach that could win, that would not be the same as Troy, but brought a lot of those same ethos. And with Coach Quill, what you have is a team that is a complete mirror image of who he is as a winner. He's gritty. He's tough. He expects the most out of himself. He's a winner, and he never quits. That's New Mexican. Even though he wasn't New Mexican when he got here, he is now. And that team that you're seeing right now, I'll wrap it up with this. We had this amazing 3-2 comeback against San Antonio. We went to San Antonio on the road on a super hot night. We went down 2-1 in the 30th minute, and we drew a red card. And we won that match 3-2. We scored 2 goals, down a man on the road to win the match. We didn't have a single player on the player of the week. Coach wasn't coach of the week. We didn't have the coaching job he did with players that aren't household names time and time again. It's not a freak accident. It's a plan. He's executing it. And I know our players are thrilled to play with him and wouldn't want to play for anyone else. He is the right coach, and he won't be coaching here forever. There's a lot more for Coach Quill to do. We're really honored to have him here and to be a part of his journey.
Love that. That is very well stated, and friendly reminder for all the fans out in New Mexico and everybody at home. I don't vote for that stuff, so don't come yelling at me on social media for the team of the week and players of the year and stuff. Speaking with club president and CEO Peter Trevisani of New Mexico United ahead of their battle against LAFC in the U.S. Open Cup quarterfinals tomorrow night. I've got a statement that has a question on the back end, and then 2 fun ones for you before we let you go, sir. Since the modern era of USL Championship began, which for everybody that doesn't know is 2011, 439 teams spread out over the USL pyramid, which is comprised of USL Championship, USL League One, and USL 2, formerly PDL. 439 teams have entered US Open Cup play since then. 17 teams overall have been able to progress to the quarterfinals. Only 2 teams have made a semifinal appearance. Richmond Kickers of 2011, Sacramento Republic of 2022. Of course, they went on to fall just short against Orlando City in the final in 22. But the reason I read all of this to you is, out of those 439 teams, Peter, only 2 organizations have done it twice. Sacramento Republic and New Mexico United. You guys represent 0.004, 0.004% of teams that have entered this tournament from the USL pyramid that have made it to the final 8. When you hear things like that, what do you think? What is your response?
I think we still need a few more wins to win the cup. That's what I think. I think we're 3 away, and that's what we want. We want to win this cup. It's great. It's humbling in a way. I think it shows the Open Cup isn't just about talent. It's about desire. It's about wanting it, and this team wants it. Not every team wants it, and we do, and I think that shows up. And so it's a very important tournament for us. And I'm not surprised we're in the final 8, and I think we're going to win it one day. We expect to win it this year. We're not going in there to put on a good show. We are there to win a cup. It's one of the goals Coach Quill set out in preseason: win an Open Cup, win the USL Championship Cup. And we say it every single day in our locker room. And it's not just trite and nice. It's because we believe it. Our players, we have amazing players. So many of them should be in the MLS. I won't get into it. They should be there. They're not there for a lot of reasons, mostly because someone along the way deemed them not good enough, not because they're not good enough. And they went with something else, maybe something flashier or younger. And a lot of our players have chips on their shoulders. And so when we beat Salt Lake City, maybe they had their second team MLS, but it's their second team MLS. The second team of the Yankees are supposed to be able to beat a minor league baseball team. But what happens time and time again is USL teams beat these MLS teams because the gap isn't as far as people think it is. And the only reason why we're in Division 2 is just the league that we're in. It's not through promotion relegation. We didn't lose to MLS teams to get relegated to League 2. It's just how the American system is set up. It's a pyramid that has no ability to move up and down. So it's just a matter of what you paid for your franchise, not what the quality of your franchise is.
Let's talk about that setup for the last question before we let you out of here. You've used different versions of the word over the course of this conversation in the English language, and it's the word win, winning, we've won, things like that. And you made a comment to me before coming on. It was partially utilized earlier on, and it's that we want to chase dreams that are unattainable. Well, you have 2 dreams in front of you at this point in time that are within reach. The opportunity for New Mexico United to take down an LAFC team. Who knows what lies in the future in August and possibly beyond. Maybe even get into an Open Cup final and hoisting that cup. Also, alongside of that, you guys are sitting pretty nicely in the USL Championship as well, right there atop the Western Conference. What are the dreams for 2024 that may not have seemed attainable at the beginning of the year, but all of a sudden they're much closer than people think?
Yeah, back in the beginning of the year, we do set goals. We do, as people, we have to set goals that are so far out of our reach we can't see them. You're sprinting for the finish and you can't see where the finish line is. If we don't set goals like that, how do we reach our full potential? How do we push ourselves to that edge? And so we set these goals that we know are extremely difficult. You want to know what my reach goal is? I want to win the Club World Cup. I want to sit there and be the number one team in the world because nobody could beat us. And nobody could beat us in America. No one could beat us in CONCACAF. And Real Madrid, whoever else gets thrown at us, doesn't beat us either. And we're number one. That's my goal. And I don't know why I shouldn't think like that, because we're New Mexicans are winners. We're gritty. We're hungry. We want it. And we're going to strive for more. And so we set these goals and we march forward, knowing probably deep down that we're destined to fail, but that's okay because we'll just pick ourselves up and we'll keep marching forward. And so it's those accumulation of dreams. It's the accumulation of efforts that build the club. It's not just winning a shiny trophy. It's what was the journey to get there? How did you get there? And then where do you go once you get there? So right now we want to get to those championships. And then we want to show people what it means to be a champion and how you act like a champion and how you push forward as a champion. And you don't just settle. You actually push yourself again, even though that's uncomfortable. So that's where we're headed. This club's never stopping. This club is going to be here for 100 years. I'm just the custodian of it. I started as the team, I'm the team owner and CEO. I started as the president. Ron Patel now is the club president. We'll have a new CEO one day. We'll have a new owner one day. And they'll talk about us in a past memory, and that's how you build history. And we're on our way. I'm so proud and humbled to be part of the first generation that gets to do that.
Man of the people, bringing fiction to fact. Love that. Peter, it's been incredible. Thank you so much for your time. You covered a lot of ground, and most importantly, safe travels to the game. Hope everybody enjoys it. United for the cup, and best of luck against LAFC.
Vamos, somos unidos. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Devon, for all the support. You're the hardest working man in any league, and really appreciate what you do for USL, MLS, and all the teams that you cover. So thank you. Keep up the great work, and we'll see you in LA.
Super kind. Thank you, sir. There goes Peter Trevisani, owner, CEO, pretty much does everything for New Mexico United, to be fair. Great person. Thank you so much for the time. He was excellent. Right around the corner, we come back. Quick preview of Dallas Sporting Kansas City and what the only MLS matchup in the Open Cup quarterfinals will look like.
You're listening to USL All Access on SiriusXM FC. Here are your hosts, Mike Watts and Devon Kerr.
Welcome back, everybody, to USL All Access, Tuesday, July 9th, 2024. Wow. Incredible stuff. What a pleasure from both Peter Trevisani from New Mexico United, as well as Todd Dunivant from Sacramento Republic. Who knows what the future holds for them? Obviously, successful organizations, USL Championship, and high aspirations for the future of their club. We didn't preview the Indy-Atlanta game because, as we're talking right now, that game is coming to a close. Didn't want to spoil anything. Obviously, I'm calling that game as well, so hard to believe that this was taped ahead of time and I couldn't at least give you an idea of what the score was going to be. We gave you an idea of the other two matches. SAC hosting Seattle, New Mexico at LAFC. Last one, only MLS versus MLS matchup, is an interesting one. Not just because it's FC Dallas against Sporting Kansas City. Not just because they do have history between the two. Not just because there is such historical value for these clubs in the American soccer landscape. But they literally just played each other. You heard that right. Sunday, Sporting battled back with a red card at the end of the game. Things got a little bit frisky, but they took the lead. They battled back. They won 3-2. Heavily rotated on the night. They brought in their heavy hitters later on. And to me, it comes down to a couple of things. Number one, since Nico Estevez was let go by FC Dallas on June 9th, they've gone 3-3. They've only got 6 wins on the year, 3 of which have come in the last 6 matches, including a game back on July 4th where they took down the Portland Timbers, who were sitting quite nicely 6th in the Western Conference of MLS at this point in time. Dallas can soar. There's no question about it. They can spread the ball wide. I think they're going to struggle a little bit in the midfield against Sporting Kansas City. But KC has struggled on the defensive front. They only have 3 shutouts on the year, 2 of which in MLS play. So they're good for goals. That's going to bode well for a Dallas team that's been tickling the nylon nice. Petar Musa up top on the 9 is delightful. He doesn't really have a lot of help. They're going to get control in the width, but deep down in the engine room, do they have enough with Yaramendi and whoever's going to be paired next to him to be able to push off the likes of Aradia, of Remy Voltaire, who's coming back, of certainly an Eric Tommy who controls that midfield, Jake Davis as well. Incredible performance on the weekend next to Memo Rodriguez. And how does Peter Vermes handle that balance? Historically, I mentioned coming in something interesting to note. First and foremost, number 1, FC Dallas have been eliminated in the last 4 times it played away from home against an MLS team in the Open Cup. That doesn't look good because they're on the road once again, even though they did just do battle. 3 of those losses, though, were against Sporting Kansas City. 2017 quarterfinal, 2018 5th round, and 2022, the 4th round, of course, in 2022, Sporting Kansas City made it all the way to the semifinal before falling to Sacramento Republic. The tail end of that, just a fun little nugget as well, is what Sporting has been able to do throughout the stretches of everything. Peter Vermes very clear about the fact that this was about pride, and that's what it was about everything. They have beaten Dallas in each of the last 3 times en route to an Open Cup title. Is that what this is going to be once again for a Sporting Kansas City team that is drastically in need of some sort of a motivation and energy to turn around their season? That's it. I know you didn't hear a lot of me. I know you're happy about that. Heck, I'm happy about that. Mike Watts still walking the cat. He'll be back in a couple of weeks. Someone's got to take care of the felines, obviously. Safe travels, my friend. Best of luck to all the USL Championship squads. I'm Devon Kerr. This is USL All Access. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.
This is USL All Access. If you missed any portion of the program, listen back anytime on the SXM app.